Welcome, everybody, to the Brand X Podcast. My name is John, and with me I have my co-host, Deuce. How you doing, Deuce?
Good. Echo.
And we got all kinds of that going on, too. And here's the other thing. We are lucky enough, because we're big fans of the show, and we have, this is actually 3 is Brand X podcast, because we have, I want to welcome in Jason, Bob, and Mindy. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you. We feel welcome, although we're giving you all this echo and all this trouble. But still.
Well, we're still welcome. We're still
One
very
day,
welcome.
I want to invent a system where all podcasters can go with any equipment and podcast freely and not have issues and technical situations.
Oh, that would be nice.
I like that idea.
That is a good idea. Change
And
the
then
Now
world.
you know why it takes us so long to get our podcast started. If you ever listen to it,
We do.
Oh, some of your beginnings are hilarious.
Yeah.
it's like pop starting the clutch all the time.
Push it. It's like what was it? The Karate Kid when Daniel's son had to push the station wagon and pop the clutch. That's how we start our podcast.
Yeah. Hey, you
But
started.
so
It's great to see you guys and speak to you.
It's good. It's good
in
to
real
not
life
see you.
now. I've been listening to you guys for a while. Thanks to John, he dragged me into the podcast world, kicking and screaming, and it's always a lot of fun to to really talk to you guys.
Well, it's a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having
I
us.
wish I could see you.
Yeah, we can't see you, but
We
hey.
see AG.
Yeah,
You're
you miss it
AG.
much. Yeah.
I should hold up. I should just hold up whenever Deuce talks. I should just hold up a picture. I don't have a picture, but if I could hold up a picture,
Yeah.
I would just hold
Yeah,
up a
awesome.
picture and say,
You
"There
should
it
get a
is."
picture of him.
Yeah.
There we go.
Frame it on the wall.
And again, I think that we'll try to figure this out because I do feel like, if I can peel back the curtain a little bit, we've been doing this for like a half an hour now, at least.
Yeah.
And there's 2 systems that I like to use. One is called Cast. It's called TriCast, and it records everybody, and it brings all their recordings in, and it records each track separately, which I like to use. Well, the problem is that for some reason, Cast won't pick up Jason's interface, so we couldn't use it. So then we said, okay, Deuce, real quick, join Skype. So Deuce joins
No
Skype.
pressure.
Welcome to Skype.
So he joins, and the interface that Deuce uses works on Cast, works on Hangouts, will not work in Skype. So here we are.
I wonder if FaceTime would have worked.
Probably.
Here we are, dumbasses. We all have Macs.
Let's start all over
Probably
and
could
do
have used
it.
we probably
No,
could have
I
used
can't.
FaceTime.
I can't.
No, I mean, but
don't
in the
even-
future, we probably could have used FaceTime and then set everything up into
Yes.
our interfaces that way because it's a little bit more. They communicate a little bit better.
So Jason's recording his end, and I'm
Yeah.
recording Deuce and my end, and then I'll get all this thing together, and I'll just patch it all together, and it'll all sound like we're in the same room. But right now, Deuce and I
Funny
have
thing
the most.
is Jason, Bob, and Mindy are coming in crystal clear, and John is speaking to me from the bottom of a well. There's like so much
That's
echo.
exactly what I'm hearing too. It's like
We
every
should go
time
save
Deuce,
him.
You guys sound great on our end.
Yeah.
Here, let me just do an imitation. My only imitation.
Well, thanks for joining us because what nobody our listeners may not know is we're dealing with the 3-hour time difference, of course.
Correct,
You
yeah.
guys are in sunny California, and we're in dreary New Jersey.
It was a nice day here today.
Sun's gone down for you guys. It's going down for us now.
Yeah.
though.
It's
Yeah.
getting dark.
It's getting darker.
It's getting dark.
But my imitation for Deuce is, Timmy, go get help.
Just like Lassie.
Lassie, go get help, not Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Timmy. I'm in the well. Lassie, you go get help.
Yeah, suddenly Lassie learned how to speak.
Good for Lassie.
Well, it'll be an uncomfortable ride for the two of you, but we're having a good time. We can hear you guys clear. So
That's great.
yeah.
And again, thanks a lot. It's just awesome to see. We did see Bob's stand-up, and
Oh,
that
did
was
you?
great.
Well, what
Yeah.
did you think?
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was funny, and it
Thank
was
you.
just great to see you guys because I hear you guys talk about it all the time on your podcast. So
we do.
naturally you got that interest. Like, oh, I got to
Yeah,
see this.
now there's
know?
finally videos, so
Yeah.
thank you for watching it. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
you know what? I mean, I tip my hat off you because I don't have balls big enough to get up on stage and do what you did.
Thank
So,
you.
it was
Anybody can do
really-
it though.
You need some
I
big,
have-
hairy ones.
Yeah, I have balls big enough, but I'm just too scared to get up there.
You just don't want to take them out and show them to everybody.
Right. And the thing that impressed me the most was Bob actually has the testicles of a 12-year-old boy.
Yes,
I do.
He does.
Because of Taint Sanity.
Taint sanity.
Spread the word. Taint Sanity works.
Insanity. Yes.
I'm selling it for $19.99.
Bob just said anybody can do it, but
It's
that is
true.
not true. Not anybody can do
Well,
it.
everybody that says that they don't have like the balls, like if you just get up there, like I'm not one to stand in front of a group of people and talk, but
It's true, but pat yourself on the back, Bob, because I consider myself a relatively funny guy, and
Yeah.
I don't go up there and do it. So not anybody can do it. So give
all
yourself
right,
some credit.
I'll
man.
take it then. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering now if I could do it now. Like I'm
Yeah, you
I'm
can.
almost thinking about trying to get us like a 5-minute. How long, Bob? Let me ask you this question: when you first start, how long do they give you? Like 2 minutes before they rip you out of there? When does the light go on?
What the first show I ever had was what 5-6 minutes? I don't remember. Yeah,
Give us
usually
5.
Yeah,
Give us 5.
usually the gigs I get is about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
The light goes on at 5, so 6 minutes up there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I look at it
but-
this
Yeah.
way.
You work
I'm going to
towards
do one
it.
of two things because it'll be a win-win for me. Like what I'll do is right before I go on stage, I'll shove a piece of coal up my ass.
Yeah,
if no one
that's-
laughs,
That's a good
my
strategy.
sphincter will tighten up so tight. By the time I get done, I could shit a diamond out. And
There you
then
go.
That is a win-win.
That is so win-win.
That's-
And you just start a jewelry shop
See,
afterwards.
there you go. That is brilliant. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
It will be pretty tight, your sphincter. That's for sure.
A little bit.
It's pretty
Now,
scary.
now
up
were all
there.
three of you, Mindy and Jason, in the audience while Bob was performing? I mean, I'm guessing you ran the video audio, Jason?
No. He did it at a studio called the
Dow Comedy Studio.
Dow Comedy Studio. I was in the audience. Mindy did not go that night.
Nope.
Yeah, the owners of the studio offer to get your stuff recorded, so I just paid $15 and was able to get a set recorded. So
Yeah.
no,
Oh, that's
pretty cool.
yeah, it's really cool. Because yeah, like I've been doing it for a year and I never got anything recorded. So in order to pretty much get booked in other places, people want to see video. So now I finally have video. So that's cool.
Yeah.
See, back in the day, what you'd have to do is you'd bring a cassette recorder, and you'd sit it right near the speakers, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how you got your recording, so you
Like
could send it
an
to other
episode of
bookers.
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays it's so easy. You can just upload stuff onto the internet. But I can imagine back in the day.
But Jason tried that, and it didn't go so well for him.
Well, not with a cassette recorder, but with my phone. And I that was at the Comedy Store, and they told me you can't record anybody in those places for
yeah,
some reason.
most
I
comedy
wanted to know
places-
why. I
Yeah.
couldn't understand why,
I
but
don't know. But
maybe
most-
because you take away their business.
I have no
not
clue.
really.
I don't
Because
know.
you're already there, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Right.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of time they have a lot of just arbitrary rules. Like where I work, it's why? Just because.
Right.
You know,
Because I said so.
okay, I'll roll with that just because.
It's that way everywhere.
It worked when I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like your mom and dad, because I said so, that's why.
There it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only
Like,
reason you
that's-
need.
That's not fair. That's not a legit reason.
Ah, shoot.
So one of the things we like to do on the podcast is we like to bring up funny stories and kind of have a discussion about them.
Okay.
And usually we end up in the state of Florida.
Oh, good.
Oh,
yes,
God.
I
Yeah, we do
understand
too.
that. We do too. Yeah.
And this one kind of got us thinking, and we thought you probably could chime in on this. On a Saturday night, report says Joaquin Menendez sat in a chair, put on a bulletproof vest, and said, "Wonder if this still works." His cousin,
Oh
Alexandrio,
no!
reportedly said, "Let's see."
Oh,
That's
God.
when he pulled out his handgun and shot Menendez in the chest. Well, the bullet traveled through, and Menendez later died in the hospital.
Oh, my God.
gosh!
How much alcohol was involved? That's the question.
Well, it was on a Saturday night,
Makes
so
sense.
I'm imagining. And usually these kind of
And Florida.
videos, yes, usually these kind of videos start with, "Hey, hold my beer. Watch this."
That is true. That is true. That's all bad.
And they videotaped it?
I don't think they videotaped it. I think they
Yeah,
just
I
said,
think it was just like, hey, let's try this out. And,
Oh,
you know, and
wow.
Oh,
That
that's
is horrible.
horrible.
That
Can you
really is.
imagine?
"No."
Nah.
You just blew your friend away.
That's just
That's just
I think it was
sad.
his cousin.
Oh, cousin. That's
Even
even worse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
way worse.
Ah.
Very
That's way
awkward at the
worse.
funeral, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
I don't think
What
you can say
happened?
the eulogy.
So now the question would be did he get arrested?
Oh yeah, they booked him. They got a
That's
nice,
definitely
flattering
homicide.
mugshot picture of him. You know.
I mean, I know that the other cousin can't confirm the deal they made. Hey, put this on and I'll shoot you, kind of thing. So it's really just his side of the story, unless there's witnesses. But
Right.
he kind of asked for it, but
Still homicide.
That'll probably get him like Bob said. But they'll probably plea bargain it down to like an involuntary manslaughter or
Yeah.
some kind of weird
wow,
nebulous
Yeah.
charge that they always do.
That is horrible.
that really is.
Yeah, unfortunate.
John has the theory that it's because Florida is so hot. That's why this happens. But I always say there's a shitload of hot states in this country. And why is it only like, California gets pretty hot.
Well, let me
Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. But you don't really hear stories like this like you do in Florida.
All right, well, let me break it down to you a little bit here, Deuce. It's humid. That's that. And see, the thing is, okay, it's not. We live in the desert and it's dry, but when it's humid, I get sweat that runs down my ass crack, and then it makes its way into my butthole,
Ooh,
and then I
swamp
get
ass.
and then I get itchy anus, and that will drive a brother nuts.
Fun
Okay,
time
so
monkey butt is the answer.
right, so
Here on the
you'll-
East Coast, we call that creamy crack.
yeah, creamy crack will make people shoot their cousin. Okay.
So it sounds like you guys pretty much have the same type of weather that we have here in Jersey. Only it doesn't get as cold there as
Well-
as
Oh,
we
it
get.
gets
No,
cold.
it gets cold here.
Where we're at.
Where we're at, yeah.
We live in the desert.
How
Well-
cold can it get there?
Well, not consistently cold, and the temperatures vary. But I
Well,
mean,
let's wait.
teens, we
Let's
get into
break
the
it down.
teens.
It
Oh,
could be
really? That cold?
Yeah,
like right now. Today it was probably 80s,
yeah,
and
90s.
it'll get down. Well, and it can get down to 30s, 20s
Not in the summer, but yeah, in the
in
summer.
the fall and winter.
Yeah, so what you'll have in the winter is it'll get down to, on average, it gets down to in the 30s. Every winter at night, it gets into the 30s. And then it'll go up to the 50s and 60s. So you got this huge variance in temperature from night, from day to night. And it's pretty tough for your body to acclimate. I know Mindy's family, her sister lives in Michigan, and it gets it varies maybe 5 degrees from night to day.
It probably just stays cold.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's
Wow.
40 during the day, and then it's 35 at night or 30 at night. Whereas here, it varies. But
That's
yeah,
what I think it's tough. Is
You don't
'cause
even know what to wear.
Yeah,
we get pipes that break. We get snow.
I'm wearing my
occasionally.
jacket in the
see,
morning.
now that's a lot colder than I had thought.
Yeah.
I must.
Because you
admit.
think sunny California, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think
Well,
that everything's like
I guess
90210.
it's because I'm assuming you guys are like around Los Angeles, like.
Yeah.
We're the outskirts of LA County.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
so
like literally
I'm
the
thinking
cutoff.
about that latitude. I guess that's why, because it's
Well-
southern from where we're at anyway.
They call it the high desert. So the reason why we get cold is because we are higher in elevation. We're at about 2,500 feet, almost 3,000 feet.
And that's
So
halfway to Denver, so that's in their
That's-
elevation. So that's pretty high up.
it is, and so that's why we get the cold temperatures in the winter.
Gotcha. Okay.
like in the winter. We all around us is mountains. We're kind of in a valley.
Yeah.
and all the mountains will get snow. We won't get any, but
Once every like 7 years, we do.
Yeah, and then
See,
it's
here, one-
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you're the guest.
I forgot what I was going to say. So there.
Well, what we'll get here occasionally is we'll get these Alberta clippers out of Canada, and we will get like at nighttime temperatures of like 5,
Oh, nope.
and then they trot out wind chill factors of like -3, -5. So hopefully
Yeah,
we
that-
don't get that again this year. So
Yeah,
because
that-
that sucks.
That doesn't happen to us.
No,
Nope.
not no.
But
no,
yeah, but
no,
you
no.
do get colder than I thought, and when you say you get snow, so it's
The snow
mountains
doesn't
get
happen
snow.
often.
It's rare. The reason why the snow doesn't happen is because we are a desert. So we have the rain shadow effect. So the clouds just rise up. It splits around us. I haven't seen rain here
oh gosh,
in probably 4 or 5 months.
Oh yeah,
maybe
Believe it or not.
more than that.
4 or 5 months.
that's why we're in a drought.
Yep.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
bad.
true. Forgot about the whole drought thing.
have
Yeah,
you been
oh, yeah.
near those fires?
Oh, fires
we've
are
had
Oh,
so
yeah.
many
bad
this year.
Very bad.
Bad.
The drought's so bad, I'm drinking my pee now.
Like you're
He
lost
doesn't even
at sea.
have to. He doesn't even have to. It's weird.
I'm still watering the lawn, but I'm drinking my pee, trying to adjust.
It's like
Why
a
you just-
sprinkler.
You should just pee on the lawn.
I should
Now,
just
were,
pee on
were
the
any
lawn.
of those fires near your homes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not our homes because we're in the valley, but
It's like
But
surrounding
all around us
For
in
a
the
second, it
mountains.
surrounded us.
10 miles away, maybe
Wow, that's heavy
15
duty.
miles away.
Yeah.
But what
But
happens
it's
too
never
is
gonna
we
hit
get
us.
all the smoke that comes into our valley, and it just sucks.
Lays
I'd rather
there.
get the smoke than the fire.
Yeah, for sure.
I can understand that. That would be kind of crazy. See, and it's so funny because I've only been west of the Mississippi one time. And when I say west of the Mississippi, we crossed the Mississippi down in Louisiana. And I'm like, okay, I'm west of the Mississippi.
So you were
And then we went
literally
back. Yeah, and that
an
was it.
inch
So
west of it.
yeah, so if we think in Jersey, like everything's 90210, and everything's like, we think that you just drive into Los Angeles, no big deal. Like for me to go into Philadelphia, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can drive through Philadelphia in 20 minutes. For you to drive through Los Angeles, it's almost like an 8-hour drive, isn't it?
No, it's an hour away.
It's an hour. It's an hour.
But I mean, just to go through the whole Los Angeles County from one end to the other isn't it?
the county?
It's probably about 3 hours.
Yeah, the county, yeah.
3 hours.
LA
It's a big
itself
county.
isn't that big, but
It's a
the
3-hour
county-
tour.
Well, you know what? Actually, if you start, because we're on the outer edge. So if we started here and then we drove until we hit Orange County, which would be the other
Like
side,
2 hours.
It's about 2 hours. It's about 2 hours, but it is a big county, and I think it's big. It's big in that it goes pretty far, but there's also a lot of people that live in Los Angeles County.
Oh
So,
yeah,
I mean, you've got Santa
Traffic for
Clarita, you've got the San Fernando Valley, which is very large. I grew up there too, so it's pretty
there's a lot
popular.
going on in Southern California.
Is Los Angeles, has it overtaken New York in population yet? I mean,
No,
I think
I
they
don't
were
know.
pretty close, I remember.
I would think New York is more, but maybe they are pretty close.
Well, when they talk, because
they're just
Los Angeles
stacked there.
incorporated so many towns and things.
Yeah, I don't
Over
know,
LA.
to be honest with you. It's probably right around the same, but New York doesn't cover as much ground, so that's the
it.
difference.
That's
That's
the
what I was
whole
saying. They're
thing.
more stacked, and
Yeah.
LA is more.
Yeah, we're in ranch houses, and you guys are in big apartments that go all the way up to the sky.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you guys aren't. I don't know where exactly. I don't know what New Jersey, where it is in relation to New York, but
Well, Jersey is a bizarre state. It's
It's like
northern New Jersey is populated by transplanted New Yorkers for the most part. Southern New Jersey is transplanted Philadelphians like myself.
okay.
So if you drew a line through New Jersey right through the center, north of that line, you got Jets and Giants fans. Down here, you got Eagles, Steelers.
Right.
If you're in the hockey, down here they're all Flyers fans. Up there, they're Rangers or Islanders.
right,
So
right.
it's kind of a weird state. New Jersey doesn't have its own network. We have no we get our news out of New York or Philadelphia. There's no New Jersey stations here. It's really a weird thing.
So
That is
where
weird.
do the Devils play?
they
The
play in
Devils
New-
are in Central Jersey, but they're mostly a North Jersey favored team. So
Okay.
it's like kind of weird.
You know what it is? New Jersey is actually the skin tag of the United States. It's like it just kind of hangs there. It really doesn't have
no.
any kind of place. It's just like it's there, but it really doesn't have any place. It's not like a home or anything like that. It doesn't really do anything. It's just like the skin tag of the United States.
I hear.
Now
I hear.
we're-
I
we-
actually learn a lot from the two of them from their podcast at that corner because I
Yeah.
really know nothing
I don't
about
either.
that whole area.
Atlantic City, that's in their area, right?
Yeah, we're from like how long is it for you? I know Bob goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
How long of a drive is that to Vegas from where you guys are?
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5
See,
hours.
that's right. So it's an hour for us to get to Atlantic City.
Okay.
Basically.
That's your Vegas.
Right. And
Kind
Deuce,
of.
it's about a half an hour. He's halfway.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
nice. I wish Vegas was that close.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But it's pretty close.
South Jersey is more farmland and forest.
Okay.
And we've mastered the letter R down here, unlike North Jersey.
Josie.
They kind of just turn it into a soft H. They can't be they
Nice.
can't be a tiger with their kids. They can't go. "Rrrr." You're not gonna go
That's not as fierce.
No.
Not as
roll
fierce
with
at
it.
all.
But you guys listening to your podcast, and I've only been in with you guys since like episode 145.
Okay.
from John, and now you're up to 189.
Yeah.
And I heard your podcast today, and
He's a
and
walking
Mindy
encyclopedia.
well,
He
that's
is.
what I do. And Mindy was talking about the water issue today. Like if you were to drink water just for 30 days, and I can't do it. And also,
That's a lot of water.
I agree with Jason because beer is water, coffee is water, milk is water, and that's basically where I get my water from. Not necessarily in that order.
I
So-
love the way he says
Yeah, I like
water.
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 It's
Yeah,
adorable.
we say
Yeah,
wood.
instead of water.
Water.
That's good.
That's the Philadelphia accent.
Yeah.
Nice.
For us to
That's
say
awesome.
water, it's like you're going out of the way to do it.
Really, it's a lot of work.
It's more of a hassle.
Water.
Water.
No, that's
water.
Michigan right there.
Yeah, water.
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 Just have some water.
Don't you know?
Get yourself some pop.
But it does make a lot of sense what Mindy was talking about with
Does.
drinking the water for 30 days.
Water.
So
Yeah, stick with water. That's
Water.
way better.
Yeah.
we can't drink it. We can drink it. We just can't say it. That's the
Now
problem.
you know what I got from that whole thing is I'll never do that. For one,
Now we got out of that.
but I need to drink more water. Not necessarily everything water, but just a lot more of it because I feel like it definitely will help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that only drink sodas and stuff like that. They don't drink. Nobody. I mean, I drink beer, coffee, water. Those are my only selections. Really. So
no lemonade, iced
drink
tea
'em.
occasionally. Or,
no, occasionally I had a Pepsi earlier, but I rarely have soda. It's so rare.
yeah.
I actually had drinking water actually put me in a hospital
Whoa.
last year.
Whoa.
Holy
Must
What
be
kind of
some-
water you drinking?
So what
Bad
happened?
Cheese
water.
dog.
Mexico water?
Well, because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get lose some of this tonnage that I have, and I went on this program, and they said, "Listen, you have to drink half
Oh, no,
your
no.
weight in ounces
no.
of water."
sounds
So
ridiculous.
I'm like, okay.
So you
So I'm drinking and drinking and drinking, and the next thing you know, I was having a problem. I was still having a little problem breathing. So I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Okay, let's walk around the office." And I'm walking around the office, and I'm losing, I'm short of breath. So they're like, "Hold on, we got to send you to the hospital." I'm like, "Why?" And they go, "Yeah, you've drank so much water, you're actually having congestive heart
What?
failure.
wow.
So we got to get you to the
What?
hospital." Oh yeah. So now, right. So now they take me to the hospital, and they put an IV in me, and they put this diuretic in there that makes you pee. And when I tell you it makes you pee, I mean it's like makes you pee
Oh,
like
yeah.
crazy, almost. So then the nurse says to me, "I'll tell you what, to make it a little easier, we're going to give you a catheter."
yummy.
Jeez.
And I said, "You know what? I don't think so. I think as long as I can make it to the bathroom, I'll try that." So for 4 days, I went running. Matter of fact, one night I actually spent like sleeping on the toilet. In 4 days, I lost 42 pounds of fluid.
Wow.
Wow. So maybe it does work.
Yeah, so
So
your
you can
diet
have
did
your
work.
you can have your water.
Yeah, no, I don't think it, it's like, I think it should be more like, hey, drink your goal weight in water, maybe. Not your current,
Just drink water.
Well, they tell you too to start off slow.
Yeah.
I think it's what I read in that, and the reason why is
You'll
because
piss a lot.
your body needs to adjust to the amount of water that you're putting in,
Yeah.
and eventually, your body regulates, of course.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
it starts
you-
to
I swelled up like a pig.
exactly.
I find it tasteless. To me,
Oh,
it's water.
Bob says the same thing.
No,
Yeah, it is.
I have this argument going. I love the taste of water.
It has no taste.
And there,
What do
yes,
you mean you love the taste of water? How do you love the taste of
there
water?
is difference in water.
Hey, Mindy.
taste.
There is like Arrowhead compared to the rest of the world. Yeah, Arrowhead's disgusting. But
well, yeah,
I mean,
that-
they're still,
Arrowhead tastes like dirt, and
but they're still
Dasani-
not like
Dasani
taste.
tastes good.
Hey, Mindy, after a long day's work, I'll dip my nutsack in your water. It'll
Hey,
have some
Jason,
taste then.
eat my fart box.
There we go again.
There we go again.
There we go again.
There we go again.
Uh-huh.
Hey, listen, you know what? I love the taste of air.
Yeah,
I mean,
gosh.
there's nothing like a good
Hell
mouthful
yes.
of air.
L.A. air. That's good stuff.
LA air is great.
Pollution.
Hmm. And dirt for us, mostly.
Yeah, that's true. Right in the mouth.
So yeah, I'm not off the water bandwagon, but I've cut back on a lot of it, to be quite honest.
Well, I think
I've-
the most you should be doing, John, is 64 ounces.
Right.
Exactly.
Scattered throughout the
Right.
day, not.
Yeah, right.
One-
Not in one sitting. Yeah.
Well, there's douchebags that I work with. They do do that. They'll sit in the break room and one sit and they'll just pound water. And well, then I got my gallon. I'm done for the day. I'm like, well, that's counterproductive because you're going to go to the bathroom and then you're going to sweat it all out and you're going to be dehydrated all over again. It's
Yeah, right.
Yep,
Yeah, I don't think
throughout
that's
the
gonna
day.
work.
It doesn't retain, and when you after a certain amount, I don't think. Plus, they're just trying to get breaks, probably
Yeah, that's true.
piss breaks.
Right.
I have a little app that reminds me when to drink some water, and these guys are making fun of me.
Yeah,
there's an app for everything.
because who needs an
nowadays.
app? Like, oh, I'm thirsty.
Yeah,
There you go. That's when you drink water.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like,
no,
if I've been,
no,
like-
not just when you're thirsty, because then it's too late.
No. Remember, I read that one thing. You remember? That's a myth.
Okay, well,
yeah, when you're you
but
late.
the point is you should be drinking it throughout your day. So every couple hours, you should be having a glass of water.
well, you should be thirsty every couple hours. That's what your body's there to tell you.
We're the sound effects.
Yeah, where are they?
They're right. I don't.
Freaking
I'm afraid to try
frack.
to use
Yeah,
mine.
you know.
Oh man.
But I learned, because you guys are like so awesome when I listen to you guys because you guys make podcasting seem easy to me, and I know that it's not.
It's not.
But you guys are just like so fluid with it and everything, and basically what I know about you guys is from inference. So I mean, for our listeners, I mean, Jason and Mindy are married, and now, and Bob's friends of theirs now. And you guys were just on the Toe on the Trigger podcast, and that kind of answered a lot of questions because I listened to that, and that was great, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. And so, but basically, Mindy and Bob knew each other first.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Yep.
That is
When I
true.
was 18 years old.
Yep.
He was a little pup.
This is something I did not know
We,
about
we
this.
worked at Target
Well, you
together.
got to keep up on these podcast things, John. I don't know if you've heard about them.
I can barely edit ours. What are you kidding me? It's been 3 weeks. I'm trying to find it. I just cut the beginning and the end of it off, and I put something on there, and I threw it out
Yeah,
there
I listened
today.
to that one.
It's
That
like,
was
here.
great. You guys.
It's like a fish. It's like, here, you throw a fish out the door. Here, eat
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
it
actually
also-
listened to yours today. It was great. Your perspective of 911 or 9/11. Sorry,
Yeah,
9/11.
yeah, that was. It's like I said. That is. I always, for me, that's like a big day, and we've talked about that in the podcast. But I mean, every year at the time, and I can't believe it's been 15 years.
crazy.
It's been It just seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Well, what I got from that conversation, if I could interject, is we're on the West Coast here, and so it comes around, and we all remember, of course, but you guys. It seems much deeper in that corner, for you guys. You guys are so close to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it was. It's because I would go to New York every once in a while, and still to this day, when I go to New York, and as soon as you come over to this one sport, you start to see the skyline in New York, and the first thing you would always see coming up to New York from from Jersey is the Twin Towers. It's the first thing you would see, and not to see them now, even now, like if I drive up there tomorrow,
Still
I'll look and I'll
mind-blowing.
say, look, they're not there
Wow.
anymore. Yeah, still, it's hard to believe 15 years later.
It's crazy.
But see, the funny thing is for us, like we really don't have earthquakes here. And so when you guys have earthquakes, like we had one earthquake about 3 years ago that I actually felt like I was actually there for it. And I was with my kids and they're running around the house and stuff like that. And I thought someone had like thrown something upstairs and the house, like had like a boom and it was like a shake. And then I thought a truck was going by. Well, the funny thing was I'm sitting on a chair and I felt the chair go up and down. And I go, hey, that's not something normal. We're having an earthquake. And just as I got ready to enjoy the earthquake, it went away. And I was like so pissed. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't even get to enjoy it. It was
enjoy an
going that
earthquake.
quick.
Yeah, but a lot of people enjoy that.
Well, we live
And
in
Jersey, it's
the
like-
area where
it's like a little ride.
Yeah, it's a big ride out here at least. I can't. When was that last really big one where the freeway fell?
94.
90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
January
The Northridge
14th.
earthquake.
And
Was
we
that
live.
during the World Series.
No, that was San
was
Francisco
86.
earthquake.
Oh yeah, that was
Which was
the
big
80s,
too.
I think that was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s in the 80s.
I think it was the 80s.
And then ours. This I say ours because it did affect us. We see the thing is it's weird is we're right on a fault line and you can see it. Our freeway carves right through it, and
Yeah.
but we haven't had in this area a large earthquake. The earthquakes are always down in the San Fernando Valley or closer to LA.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple since I've been, alive. There was the Northridge is the one in 94.
That's what I'm
That
referring
was the
to,
biggest
right?
one.
And that one, dropped the freeway. That's the second time that freeway's dropped, though.
Wow.
But that was crazy to see. If you could see this freeway, it's really high off the ground, and it completely caved in the whole part of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And like I said, we live up here, but I worked down there at the time. I worked in Sylmar, which the epicenter is about maybe 10 miles from there, 15 miles from Northridge. And I went to work. I worked at UPS. I was in the earthquake. I was just about to step into a truck and start unloading it, and the earthquake hit and knocked me off the ladder. And I did the get under the rack thing that we're taught in school,
which is so
stupid.
dumb.
Everybody else ran out the fucking building.
and I'm still hiding under something.
I'm still in that son of a bitch.
That's where I would have been heading.
I'm still in that, but the lights went out. I couldn't see, and I was pretty far in. I wasn't near an exit. So it seemed like it went forever.
Yeah.
And it was just shaking. The whole building was just shaking.
It shook me right out of the bed. I was in bed.
Luckily nothing fell on me. I mean, the thing about this area is everything's built preparing for an earthquake. So you don't necessarily get a lot of buildings that collapse. And that was a big earthquake. I ran out of there, and then it was the craziest thing. We're sitting there, and there's a hill behind us, and we're just all kind of shooken up, and we're talking to each other, and all of a sudden this big cloud of dirt from the hill behind us just pours over everybody, and it was all over our cars. The cars were shifted into each other and weird shit. It was nutty, man. And then I had to drive home on that freeway that collapsed.
Now,
Go ahead.
I was working with somebody. She had moved from California to New Jersey. It was when I was in the elevator business. And I was working with her, and she's like, listen, I can't stand New Jersey anymore. I got to go back to California. So she was moving back. And I think this happened on a Monday or a Sunday or something. It might have been Monday. I think it was. Anyhow, she had moved back over the weekend. She flew back and she was home. I wake up, I guess it was Monday morning, and that was the Northridge earthquake. So I call her, and I can't get a hold of her. So finally, when I get a hold of her, I said, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, California is so happy to see me. The earth moved.
That's a great sense of humor.
Such a California.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I'm
now
home.
you, Bob and Jason, you are both native Californians?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God.
There goes her impressions again.
They are.
There it is, dead on.
Which one was she? Me or
I don't
you?
know.
Yeah.
Either way, it was dead on.
So good. It's
Spot
tough to-
on. That
tough
I
to know.
I think it's like a thing that guys always imitate their wives. And,
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
I imitate my wife constantly,
Yeah.
much to her chagrin.
Yeah.
But the one common thing I noticed, at least among my friends, when guys imitate their wife doing the mad voice, they always go in there with a voice like this. It's like
every time.
it's like the universal "my wife is mad at me" voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name's Mindy.
How sound like?
Boy, that sounded like that.
Oh, it did, huh?
Freaking
Hi.
Debbie. Oh, no.
This is Debbie.
Oh, no.
How are you handsome gentlemen doing? Deuce, you have such a sexy voice. How old are you?
Now, what I want to know, Debbie and Bob and Jason and Mindy,
Sure.
is how
There's
did
four
you
of us.
how did you get into podcasting? I mean, because John, I know how John wound up getting into it. What was your calling into this?
Oh, I don't. You know what? I don't know why, but it was Bob and I first,
Yeah.
and it was 2012 ish, something like
I think
that.
it was before podcasting was even.
It was
big
a thing. It was starting to be a thing, and I had gotten a Mac, and I was like, I started exploring GarageBand, and then I started hearing about podcasts, and I had a Yeti microphone that plugged right into the Mac with a USB cable. And I started exploring GarageBand, and I was like, "Hey, Bob, I don't know I don't know why I did it." I said, "Like, hey, Bob, you want to do a podcast?"
Because you're that guy.
And he's like, "All right." And so then I started looking into how to do it because it's not, you got to figure all that out, RSS feed and all that crap. I actually used Podbean from the beginning, and because I don't want to have to figure that stuff out, they create the RSS feed for you. You can set it up with iTunes. It's all pretty easy. So I paid for that. Back then it was $10. It's still $10, so that's kind of cool.
Didn't change.
and it's actually cheap for what they offer you. But anyway, so then we just did about 12 podcasts, and then we moved into the current house we live in. We tried to keep it going, and it just didn't work out. I was in a couple bands and was pretty busy, so I just
Not
let
a
it
couple,
go.
like 3.
So then, so then last year I was like, hey, Bob, you want to do the podcast thing again? And he said, yeah. And then I think 2 episodes in, we asked Mindy to join us, and that's history. But I think the reason why I was interested in it is because I have always been a fan of morning radio. I was a big fan of Mark and Brian, and out here locally. So that's my brand of entertainment. I'm funny in conversation, like whereas Bob's funny in conversation, but he can get up on stage and do it. I'm okay at it, but I don't give a shit enough to actually try to really do it and pursue it. Because I've already, God, I don't want to start something again. Yeah, we went to the course together, Bob and I, and the guy's saying, okay, 10 years, and you're going to be good. I'm like, I don't got another 10 years to give this shit a try. so why not just podcast? I'm funnier that way anyway. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I wanted to do it. I think if I really think about it,
I'm ready for speaking of stand-up, I'm ready for Eddie Murphy to come
where's
back.
he been?
I mean, there's a guy that hasn't done it in forever, and now he says he
Oh,
wants
he
to come
said he's
back
coming back?
and start
Really?
doing
He's
stand-up
funny
again.
too, man.
He needs to come back. He needs to redeem himself from the 80s because his stuff now is
Yeah.
not so
Yeah, a
good.
little tepid.
Yeah.
I think he'll do pretty. I think he'll do
Yeah,
pretty
if you
well.
bring
I
stand-up
think,
back, not those cheesy kiddie movies.
Yeah, what's that crap?
We need Coming to America again.
I think you know who doesn't want him coming back? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart doesn't want him coming back. I'll tell you that. Right
I think Kevin Hart's doing
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
when
don't
it's going to
think-
fade for him,
I don't
but
think Kevin Hart would be affected if Eddie Murphy came back.
different brands of comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they'd both be shining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I kind of always thought that Kevin Hart was like a little mini
Really? Huh.
Eddie Murphy. I don't. Yeah, I did. I kind of thought the styles would. Again, I am a huge fan of stand-up. I love stand-up. I
stand-up's
love
awesome.
comedy roast. I mean, I watched the comedy roast
that
of
was
Bob
good.
Lowe. I've watched that like
you.
15 times.
It was,
I'm
it
not
was,
lying.
it was the
I've
comedy roast
watched
of
it
what's her
15
face. What
times.
was her name?
Yeah,
It was the
girl.
roast of
And Coulter.
Of,
yeah,
Ian
it was a
Poulter.
roast on her pretty much. That was amusing.
Now you say that, but I think everybody caught shade on that.
Not as much
I
as
mean,
she
there
did.
wasn't one person. Well, you say that. I mean, but they said that Jewel, that her teeth were like the Spice Girls. They're all different
Yeah, that's
colors, and
true.
doing their own
Jesus.
thing.
Oh,
That's harsh.
that's bad.
But Jewel had the good sense. She was laughing about everything. Ann Coulter was just sitting there with
She's
that
getting
look on her
offended.
face.
She just sat there with a look on her face like, I can't believe that these people are actually, I can't believe these liberals are actually talking
She
like
totally
this to me.
bombed with her joke. So
She was horrible. The only good joke that I thought that she had was when she said, David Spade, I want you to vote for Donald Trump because I want to prove the media wrong where they say not one Spade will vote for Trump. And I thought that was about the funniest,
Yeah, but the
that was
rest
the
of
funniest
it
line she had.
was bad.
Was
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it was so bad that my rear end was trying to pull the cover off of the seat. I mean,
that's how bad it was. Yeah, but
It was,
it was a
pretty
good
bad,
roast
yeah.
though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought even for the scrubs that they had up there. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
That was cool.
well, it was funny thing was Nikki Glazer. The only reason I knew Nikki Glazer was because her face is prominently plastered on the podcast part of iTunes, right in the front, right in the
Yeah.
center. And I'm thinking to myself, who is she with to get that spot? I mean, it's been that way for a year, and I had no
Yeah,
idea.
it was
I've never
funny.
listened
Like
to
I was at the
podcasts.
comedy store the day before they recorded that, and Nikki Glazer actually hopped on our show and did her whole routine on our show to practice.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
funny.
she hopped on our show that night to practice the
Check
routine
that
the next
out.
day. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
She's a tall drink of water.
Yeah,
She is. She's like is she like a 6-footer, Bob? I mean, you.
I don't know. I was sitting down
You know,
when she was
up
on
front.
stage, so it's kind of hard to tell. But
You didn't get over there and try to
nah,
talk her up,
she
chat her up
ran
a
off.
little bit?
I was running the
bounced.
music, and she ran off real quick, so I didn't have time.
What music did she want?
Oh no, just whatever Vargas told me to play.
What'd you play when
I
she
don't
walked?
remember. It's just skip and then turn it up and then skip for the next song. I don't remember what song it was.
was. Okay.
It was good though. It was good.
One of the comedians that are out, one of the newer comedians that I think is hysterical is Sebastian Maniscalco.
That's who I was trying to just look up right now.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yes, he's amazing.
I find him because he's much like Seinfeld, and
He's your family is who he is. He's your
yeah,
family.
well,
You're
you know,
that
we're
angry
cousins.
family.
I'm
relate.
just trying to get a plug in now. I think he is much like Seinfeld, and to an extent George Carlin, where he can work clean.
Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he could, you know, very well see him on like Kimmel or Fallon or whatever, and you know, and be on a prime time, you know, network television. He doesn't
Well,
necessarily
yeah.
have to rely on HBO or you know, because
Netflix.
some comics are so blue that you know there's nowhere for them to go in that venue. But
Yeah.
I think he's a
Love those guys.
scream. I mean, he.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's really funny. Dude.
I love
I
the whole.
see my whole family there in a lot of his routines.
Want to come over for some Sanka?
Yeah, you want some Sanka? You know, it's like,
Sorry.
Love it.
That-
the sword,
that
get the
whole routine
sword.
Where he does that.
Yeah, he's a
don't
funny
nobody
dude.
touch this cake. This is for
Yes.
company. The rest of you scumbags, you eat the crumb cake over there. These
You know
cute
what's
muffins,
hilarious
this is for
about it
you.
is that is how it sort of is back east. I remember
Yeah, that's what
growing
I'm
up
saying.
like
That's
that.
Deuce's
Yeah, I
family.
mean that's the way it
Yeah,
was.
he's from Chicago, but his mannerisms, I guess it must be an Italian thing, I guess. I don't know. But I
You
would have
think?
thought I would have bet the house that he was from New York, Long Island, Boston. But
Yeah,
he's
you
from
would think so.
Chicago.
Yeah,
And,
he is.
you know, it's really, I turned on a lot of people to him. You know, when we sit in the break rooms and we just like, oh, check this dude out. This guy's a riot. And,
That's the next big podcast, the break room. I got to get like six
The
mics.
break
Break room.
That'd
That'd be a cool
Break room
name for a
podcast.
podcast.
The break
actually,
room?
just the break,
Break
room.
room.
That would be pretty cool.
What do you think, Deuce? We change, rebrand the break room.
you got a lot of nudniks in there. So I work with a lot of great people, but some of them are deviants.
And they
And
all
the
listen.
stuff that they come out with sometimes, it's like, oh, why don't I have a mic on me right now?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
Are you in retail?
I will reveal my secret identity. I have a very unusual vocation, but I was in retail for most of my life. I was in sales. I owned my own business. My dad had a pizzeria restaurant for 17 years. So, yeah, my background is definitely retail and sales. And it was a lot of fun.
He works in like in a major industrial factory kind of situation now. If I could,
How about if I
delve
just
any
tell
light
them
in
when we're not recording?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a lot
We
easier.
don't talk about where we work either, so I
You
understand.
know, we're not knowing to play charades with 3 years comedy. First word sounds like
Right.
2 syllables.
I have people call me now and say, "Where does Deuce work?" I said, "I can't tell you. I have to kill him."
Yeah, we
I have the Jimmy, my cousin. He's always trying to figure out
Yeah,
where
who's
Deuce
the
works.
Jimmy? You
That's
guys
his-
have
that's
this
his
little
cousin.
thing.
His young
Jimmy.
cousin, right? Younger cousin.
Yeah, he's my cousin. He's actually older than me, and he's one of those guys that we're
I'm
kind
sure he appreciates
thing,
you
flip
telling
phone.
people that on the podcast that he's older than you.
I don't
Is
really.
he is he older than you?
But
he is
anyhow.
older than you.
Yes. Well, I'm older than Deuce. I'm older than everybody except
Well,
the Jimmy.
how old are you? That's fine. Let's see your age.
I'll
Oh,
be
okay.
55.
Yeah, you are. Okay,
55
you are
in 2
older.
weeks.
That's right.
Yes. Yes, I'm older.
Did you get your AARP card yet?
Yes. Yes. I actually am a member. I can go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a free donut.
Oh, that's awesome,
All
man.
I have to do is flash that card. That's right. Funny story today with the Jimmy. As I got to tell this because nobody will believe this kind of stuff. So the Jimmy, he was working, and one of his customers, he had to tell him to move their car. So the lady said, "That car hasn't moved in like forever. Try to start it." Well, it wouldn't start. So he brings jumper cables over, gets it to move the car. And the lady goes, "If you give me $100, you can have that car." Well, it was like a Taurus station wagon. He's like, "Okay, for $100, I'll take it." So he takes it and he puts insurance and registration on it. And he just comes back from motor vehicles. He's sitting in the back there. Well, where I live it's like the Buchanan complex in New Jersey. My cousin has an auto repair business here. I rent the house in the front. My uncle, Big T, he's in the back. Well, the Jimmy wasn't paying attention. He went pulling out into the driveway. He wasn't looking. Here comes Big T. He's 85. He's coming down the driveway. Well, there was an accident right in the middle of the driveway. So I hear all this screaming going on.
Jeez.
And it's the two of them. So, of course, I got to make a video because so this
don't
morning I'm
help
out there
them.
videotaping it.
Yeah, don't help them. Just videotape there.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
Just
that
videotape.
does help them.
That's what I do.
It helps them see how they can be
Yes.
better human
I make
beings in the future.
videotaping.
Yeah.
We videotape and mock. That's what we do in the Buchanan. Matter of fact, Buchanan in Lithuanian actually means videotape and mock. That's what
It was meant to be.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying it.
I am.
Actually, it means gets no permit. That's what it means in Lithuania. We do everything without a permit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that the comedian that what's his name again? I can't see again. I'm having that fade
Sebastian?
moment where I just had
Sebastian Maniscalco?
Sebastian.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that he's.
I can't say the
hysterical.
last name.
And you would think,
Maniscalco?
right?
Nope.
No, not happening.
Yeah.
Not even going to try that Sebastian guy.
Yeah, he's,
But you would think that I always thought that what you do in stand up is you get into stand up, then you get famous, then you get a sitcom, then you stop doing stand up, then you do a couple movies, and then you're done. You just kind of hang out and chill, kind of like Seinfeld never did movies or anything.
Tough
like
cycle.
yeah, it's true. I guess like a lot of the times when they do get a TV show or something, yeah, they do stop doing stand up. So
It depends on the trajectory. Like you look at Robin Williams. If you maybe adjust, Tom Hanks is another one. Steve Martin. Yeah, he started out in stand up.
what?
Tom Hanks started out in stand up,
What?
and then
yeah.
and then he got into sitcoms.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
And then he
Bosom buddies.
he was a
Bosom buddies.
comedian. He was all comedian at the beginning of his career, and then he
What?
adjusted his career. I think his first real big major dramatic role was Philadelphia, if I remember right. It may not have been, but or Forrest Gump before that, then Philadelphia, and he won 2 Oscars back
No,
to
I
back.
think you're right. I think Philadelphia was first because
think
he was
so?
doing Bachelor Party. He did Splash. he
Yeah,
did
all those
Big.
goofball.
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
I think you're right about that.
I didn't know he did stand up though. It's crazy.
So then there's also Steve Martin, and then there's I don't think Bill Murray did stand up. He was more of an
no,
improv
he
guy.
was, yeah, he was improv.
But
He was a Second City
Yeah.
improv
alumni
guy.
kind of a guy. And,
Yeah.
Steve Martin was George Carlin is my
George Carlin, yeah,
absolute
George
favorite.
Carlin. He's
But then back in the
one of the
day,
tops.
Steve Martin was. I was in grade school when his 2 albums came out in the '70s, and they were all over it. And then he was doing King Tut, and he was always on Saturday Night Live as a host.
Yeah, he
So,
also like
you
what, 10
really
times
couldn't
or something.
swing a dead cat and not see Steve Martin.
It's true.
He was everywhere.
Same with Robin Williams. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
true.
talk about a stand-up king, and then he just moved on into the
His movies
acting
were great
world,
too. I
and
loved
he's-
his movies.
another Oscar award-winning actor.
Yeah.
And now Steve Martin, all he does is go around and
That's
play the
it.
banjo.
Yeah.
And tours
I
and
actually,
does that. I think that's
he
kind of really
put
cool.
a play together. He's got the Pam from The Office. She's in his play. I saw that recently.
Oh man, I love Pam.
Yeah. He wrote a play or something on Broadway, I think. So that's what he's doing right now.
I love Pam.
I know
That's
you
my,
do.
That's my boo.
That's your boo right there, Pam.
That's my on-screen boo.
See, now my new favorite sitcom for this year is Kevin Can't Wait. Kevin
I
James.
still haven't seen
Is
it.
that his name, Kevin?
Oh yeah.
Well, here's the problem with that. The only reason I think that it's really, really good is because this is how I feel in my heart of hearts, that if I would have stuck back in 1986, 87, when I wanted to do stand-up, and if I would have stuck in that would be my life. Kevin James's
You could
career
have
would
been
have been
Paul
my
Blart.
career.
Yeah.
I could have been Paul Blart,
Mall cop.
Mall cop. I could have done
Run
that.
around on the
Yes.
Segway.
Rode around
Nice.
on the Segway. But I do. I like his style comedy, and I like his new.
I'll have to check it out.
He's got like the tall, hot wife, totally unattainable. See, that's
Well, it's the
what I
same
like.
way with his other
That's the
sitcom
kind of thing
too.
I
Oh yeah, with Leah
wife,
Remini, I think.
Yeah.
Was that King of Queens?
Right,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He was a UPS driver, or he wore brown.
Yeah, he's a retired cop. in this one.
I'm gonna have to check a show.
UPS
I
likes
haven't
to
seen
sue. Apparently, they had to use a fictitious delivery.
Yeah, but he's wearing brown. Who else could it be? There's
Yeah.
no other.
Right, I know.
But
You
still,
know who
you-
they're alluding to.
You can't say UPS though.
Right.
Can't say that. When that show was out, The King of Queens, there was that episode where he was trying to shoot the staple gun through his legs, and he shot himself in the nutsack. And like 5 or 6 people came to me next day. You know something? You see King of Queens last night? That's you.
That's
you would
you.
do something
Totally
like
you.
that.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I never got into that show.
You'd be at the doctor's.
No, me neither. That wasn't one of my favorites.
Well, it's an East Coast thing.
that explains it.
Mindy, how did you wind up in California?
My mother remarried someone whose family was from here.
Oh, okay.
But I've been out here, I think, longer than Michigan now.
Oh, when
I
did you
moved out here in 1980.
Okay.
So
Okay, wow. Yeah, so you're pretty much a native Californian at that point.
yeah, because I went to high school.
You got that many years.
For a while,
in, it's
actually. Middle school. and
What
high
year were you
school.
born, Bob?
84.
Yeah,
So you've been in
she's
California longer
she's
than
been
me,
a
so
California
This is sad. I was
longer
a
than Bob,
freshman when
so-
you were born.
that's
Bob.
crazy.
I was out of high school 5 years when
I
Bob
was out 1 year of high school when Bob was born.
You guys are making me feel young. Thank you.
But we were saying
Well,
how Bob and I are born and raised California, but I was thinking to myself, Mindy's been in California longer than Bob's been alive.
Yeah.
So
So technically she wins.
she's got we're all Californians basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mindy's definitely a Californian dude.
and-
There's no Michigan in this woman, other than some of the hokey shit she says. But like she hasn't lost that. In all the years she's lived in California, she still
That's
says
still-
she still says like Toyota, for like Toyotas. But she's definitely a Californian. She's not moving to Michigan. She's not moving out
No,
of this
my whole
state.
family moved me out here, right? And not a one of them are here anymore.
Not a one of them. See, that's a
Not-
Michigan
not-
thing.
not a
right
one of
there.
them?
Not a
one of them. No Californian.
Not
no
a one of
Californian says that shit. Not a one
Not
of them.
a one of them.
We don't fucking talk like that. Not a one of them. That's. She's still.
Well, one thing I know is that me and Mindy and me, we have the same reading teacher. We read exactly the
Read
same
I think
way.
mine's worse.
No, I hear John. I hear. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I agree with that.
Yes,
I
it's
was
true.
so embarrassed that day.
Yeah.
I
No need.
was like,
Okay, get it out. Come on, get it
He's-
out now. Now that you actually
He's
have
kind of
him here.
prudish.
Yeah, he's prudish.
who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very
Yeah,
polite.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to make waves.
Oh, you should have seen him. It was ridiculous. He's like, he sends me a text. You know something? I've been thinking about it, and I don't think you should really
Well, I
put that
didn't
in
think it
here
was
'cause
my
I don't wanna
place
offend
because
me.
you have a relationship, as living
It's a
as it was.
podcast. Who
Yeah, but
cares?
it's not right. It's just like
No,
Yeah, you
stop
gotta
it.
live a little.
I felt like I.
So of course, you know me. The first thing I do is I get right on Facebook and I start contacting. Listen, we got to
dick.
play this Deuce.
Well,
We got to play this joke on Deuce.
That's funny.
big throbbing member. You got a blue vein right in the middle of your chest.
See, it's a little testy. Look how testy he
oh,
gets.
yeah, it's hilarious when you guys get testy.
Now, what is that testy?
'Cause
Does that
you-
like
you-
resemble? Like, is that you getting testy? You're like getting testically? Is that
No.
Or is it
What?
Is it a whole different word?
It's
That
a
makes
whole
sense,
nother
man.
It's
one.
short for
It's like
testicle when you get
angry.
testy.
Nah, bro.
No.
Like you get like low hanging.
Probably
And
from testing
angry.
your patience, I would guess.
oh, okay. Darn it! I was hoping it was testicles.
Oh, he's being
You're-
dumb.
I was hoping I could make a connection.
You were
know?
way off,
like
dude.
low hanging and sticky. I don't know.
We're still trying to get back to Bob's
There was
12-year-old
a
testicles.
one of your
Teen Sandy, bro. Teen
one of your
Sandy.
episodes, John. You talking about the gas prices, and you were so
Pissed.
pissed about it.
Yeah, John is easy to get very emotional.
I think I'm finally embracing my old man status. Like I can be a grumpy old man now. I'll be 55. I've actually seen more sunsets than I'm going to see. I'm
You
okay
got
with
an
that.
outside shot
So
of
I
living to
embrace-
111.
I would say yeah.
I doubt it.
You never know. You
You're
never
middle
know.
age now.
Yeah, so when we got into that whole thing, well, see, my problem is I just don't like injustice. I don't like things
Oh,
that are
I'm
unfair.
right there
like
with
right
you.
now,
That's the world,
right
though.
now, as we're doing this podcast, that Cheeto with bad hair is on stage now with that thick ankled dog face, and they're actually debating about who's going to be the next president of
that's
the United
on
States.
tonight?
And they
Yeah,
won't let my
debates, yeah.
guy. They won't let my guy on stage with them because it would actually show how stupid they are.
Yeah.
So I get upset
Yeah.
about that stuff, and then what I do is I coax Deuce like a
I'm not biting
a
this
cat
time.
down an alley,
And Deuce is all like,
and
no. Let's look at it from this angle.
right he starts stumping, and he gets up on his
I'm not
soapbox.
we have guests. Let's not air any dirty laundry in front of the guests.
Oh, come on. Yes.
Drop the
So
guns.
we get into that, and he always says to me, you know something, we got to stop doing that political stuff because, you know, I don't think anybody finds that interesting. And I'm like, I got to tell you, when we start arguing, I think that is when we are, I think that's when we are probably the funniest.
I love the banter. I mean, we do it.
Yeah, we do it too.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
true.
if that's one thing we can say, we are
definitely-
not politically correct. We all kind of banter back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like siblings though, you know, kind of just bickering at each other a little bit. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, and it comes through. It's like I said, you guys are so fluid. You know, I aspire to be as good as you guys are because I've only been doing this for a couple of months.
I aspire for you to be
John
as good as I
tried-
too, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Oh, zinger.
Damn.
There you go. I mean, because
that's
John
nice.
dragged me in.
Just
He's been
kidding.
begging me for 4 years. Come on, and I was like, no, I'm busy.
Couldn't get
Well, I
anything
was
done.
busy, and then things freed up. I was like, yeah, all right, why not?
Well, I appreciate that compliment. I don't know how it happens. It's just I really don't. I honestly, I knew that obviously Mindy and I we get along like that, and then Bob
Obviously.
and I get along like that. We always have. That's why I thought when I thought of podcast, the first person I thought of was Bob, all those years ago in 2012, and. I don't know how it worked out. At first, it wasn't this fluid.
No.
But the thing about it is we just kept doing it and trying to get as many as we can in. And I tell you what, doing 3 a week, man, that helps because you're getting a lot of reps in. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the flow of our show, we know exactly where we're going. And even if we don't, we leave all that bullshit in because I don't really care if it's perfect. I just want it to be funny. And I think when stuff gets a little bit out of whack at times, that's where it's most funny.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's
Yeah, I agree with that, too.
spontaneous. It's great.
Yeah. And
See, now the problem we have, I think the problem that we have on the Brand X podcast is you guys are more regimented,
Yes,
you're more
we are.
segmented. You know, you have your times down and everything. I had 5 stories to talk
here we
about.
are.
We've
Yeah,
talked
we're
about
at an
one.
hour in.
It's we're almost at the end of the podcast. We've talked about one, which I
But
don't
that's
know.
4 people,
I don't.
though.
I think it's.
I mean, well, no. Yes. 5 people? Can I count? Is it 4?
5. It's
5
5.
people. That's see how dumb
Three,
I
sir.
am. Mindy
5.
can't read and I
5.
can't add.
5.
I'm in college, people.
we're doing podcast math right now.
That's 5 people though, John. I think we have that same trouble when we have guests. It's hard to stay on point, especially if we have a guest who's wordy. You know, so it's tough. So you're right. It is tough. Even with what we do, it's tough. So
Yeah.
Well, one of the hardest things for me was I was so excited when I got a chance to be the guest
Yeah.
on your show. So, you know, I'm a fan of the show. I know how the show works. So my big thing is I'm trying not to jump in and be that guy that just won't shut up and everybody's rolling their eyes. I tried to be that guy that just, spoke when spoken to and, kind of bring some value. Like I was writing all week. I was writing all week trying to have funny stuff to say. I'm like, because with our show, I do our show all week long. Like I'll see something in the news, I go, oh, that's for the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, okay, here's a story. Then automatically I'm trying to write jokes or something funny, entertaining to say about it or things like that. But we cannot seem to stick to a schedule. Perfect example. We started to do episode 19. We talked for over 2 hours. So I'm like, I can't put this out as 2 hours. We'll split it up into 2
there
shows.
you go.
All right. So now what we got to do? We got to record a closing for one show and an opening for the other show. All right, no problem. We jump on real quick. We're going to do this recording. Hour and a half later, we have now 3 shows
you know what?
Damn.
and no
I
closing.
don't know how we do it
So,
either.
yeah.
I really don't. We each have our own set. We have segment lineups. I think that each of us individually has a sense of time where we feel like it's going long and we move on. I don't know how it works, but I know that because I've listened to morning radio so much, I have an internal timer. I know when it's time to move to another segment. At least for us, for what we do. Now there's all kinds of different ways to podcast, but for what we do I try to shape it in a way where it's kind of morning radio. So I do
actually
have an internal
exactly what it
time
is.
clock. I think Bob does too. You know, he listens to a lot of music. How long are
Lot to
songs?
listen to.
How long are songs? They're
Uh-oh,
about
Minnie.
3 minutes long. So our attention span is about 3 to, with segments, I think it's about maybe 5 to 9 minutes. And then we usually try to move to another one. It doesn't happen we don't have a timer or a clock, but it's a feeling.
But I want to say something
Go
about
ahead.
their podcast because
Yeah.
I listen all the time, and I I like what you talk about.
Blows my mind.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
really do. I like what you guys talk about, and I guess what separates you guys from others that I hear is, others they'll stay on a topic and
Long time.
the attention span. But what you guys are real knowledgeable about stuff, and so when you do stay on a topic, you can talk about it. If you know what I'm saying, like there's a lot you guys have to give.
Right.
So maybe that's the difference.
Well, and also, if I can say, the chemistry too. You guys have great chemistry.
Yeah,
You can tell that you guys
for
have.
sure.
Not that we're sitting here giving each other hand jobs for this podcast, but here's a hand job.
I was feeling a little reach around there for a
A
second.
little bit
but
of a hand job, but no, you guys have chemistry means a lot. Chemistry, content. But it's
good to bounce off each other.
Absolutely.
What you think works and what what doesn't work.
Right,
So-
right. But if you got chemistry and you got good content, and of course your show sounds semi-professional, which yours
that's a
does.
That's all John.
Yeah, and it does. So
it does.
That's John's. I'm just here for the ride. John makes all that happen.
you're the talent.
Sounds like
Well,
me.
I
Yeah.
do audio editing. So one of the things that I was doing all editing and no podcasting. And I'm thinking to myself that if I don't jump in and do podcasting, then what's going to happen is the industry is going to get ahead of me. And so I'd like to jump in. Like today, I jumped in and said, "Hey, let's do a podcast." And this doesn't work and that doesn't work. But look at us.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're making a podcast. Me and Deuce are both in a well. But when this gets done, it should sound like we're all in the same
I'm
room.
glad we're not
And
having that same experience right now as you guys.
It's kind
Feel
of tough.
bad.
But the funny thing with Deuce, like Deuce knows he is like Deucepedia. He is
Very smart.
he has
I
all the
know.
knowledge, and I have all the feels. Like he knows things. He has facts. I have feelings. Like I feel that I'm like a woman. I feel that way. It is
Yep.
like that's so. Then I feel this way. Then that way it is. So then what I do is I like poke the bear. I poke him until he starts coming out, and then we have fun. But again, whether we're on a podcast or having a beer or having a sandwich out somewhere or something, it's the same thing.
It was always like that. Only I would have to draw pictures of people.
Yeah. See, Deuce is a very good cartoonist, and he's very good at making characters and stuff like that. So one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to incorporate his art in the episode art, every episode. But he kind of ended around at me, and he fell in love with Adobe
Illustrator.
What is that? Illustrator. And so now I don't get the drawings anymore. But
Yeah,
that's
it'll
okay.
come
I still
back.
think he does pretty good with the cover.
Eventually.
Yeah,
What would happen? It's a little inside baseball. We would, among John and myself and my brother and other friends, we would go to our watering hole and we would, carry on and carouse and drink and have a good time. And eventually a pen comes out, and then the characters.
A placemat gets turned
The
over.
caricatures start getting drawn and just funny situational pictures. And one of our buddies, Don, has all that stuff. So if I ever decided to run for the presidency, that will not happen because he's got all these pictures from decades worth of work. And,
And our podcast also has disqualified you
Yes,
from any kind of
it
serious
has.
contention
Well,
for.
Damn.
isn't it
Oh,
true?
Who knows? Look
that
at
you
Donald
said-
Trump. If he can run, look at him. I mean,
Yeah, well, it's like they always taught us in school. Anybody
Here we
can
go.
be president.
anybody can
So-
be president.
There you go, Jason. You
No.
opened up the
But
door. Here
between the two that we got now, it's true. They were right when we were kids. Anybody can grow up to be president. So, and that's as far as I'm going to put my toe in that
Yeah,
pond,
that's-
John.
I'm
I know
just-
you're just.
I'm shutting the door.
You
I'm
think
shutting the door.
so, but then I'm going to say, yeah, everybody can be president, but not everybody should be president.
Absolutely.
That's
Very
what
true.
I'm saying.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's only a
Don't
couple,
get him started.
you know,
He's trying to. I see
weeks
what you're
away.
doing,
What are
John.
we gonna
I
do,
see.
people?
November.
Yeah, what are we going to do? What are we going to do when we wake up? When's the election, Deuce? November what?
8th.
Is it?
Oh, what are we going to do on November 9th when we wake up and we find out who the heck is running this country for the next
Should be
4
very
years?
Well, I hope it's not Hillary. That's all I care.
Either way, we're screwed.
I hope it's not Hillary, and I hope it's not Trump.
I know you feel that way, but it's so funny when we started. Well, we didn't just start doing the podcast, but a long, long time ago, I remember calling it. I'm like, he's going to run for president and he's going to go far. And he certainly has.
Well, we only have to wait 4 more years, and then we'll get President Kanye.
2020.
Once we have
Gosh.
President
Kanye
Kanye,
2020.
then everything will be
See,
everything.
this
will
is
be
how
fine.
he starts things, Mindy. He pulls a string, And see, see. See how he sucked you right in? So
you guys haven't been listening to us that long, have you? Because we had Kanye on our show.
No way. You actually had Kanye on your show.
Go listen.
Isn't it funny that he made the song Gold Digger and then he married one? That is what
that's why we're so
me.
popular. We had him on our show. It's the show called Big Round Booty.
Yeah.
If you go way back in the Podbean archives.
Oh, geez.
Big Round Booty.
I still don't know how Jason got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because I've been going back and before I started listening.
Really?
And, like I said, I'm back to about like episode like 145-ish or so.
Wow.
Because John got me in at 149. That was the episode he was on. Okay. So when I can squeeze him in, I've been like pushing him. See, John didn't even know that. He's like, ooh.
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, because I'm Deuce and it's what I do. So, but, I was going to ask you what episode that was. Now I'm going to have to look back in your feed and check it out.
That was well before I was even numbering them.
I have a burning
but
question.
you know it's not really Kanye, right? But you'll want to at least hear it.
I'll have to hear it now.
Can you two tell these two what a hoagie is?
Oh, yeah, please.
Yes. All right. A hoagie is a submarine sandwich, is basically what it is. But what we in New Jersey, Philadelphia area, actually, like I said, I sent you the pictures and everything. It's right in this area, right where I am.
I saw that.
Right across the river is where the Philadelphia airport is. Used to be called Hog Island.
Mm-hmm.
And Hog Island was...
If you worked there, you were known as a hoagie.
Oh. Interesting.
Okay.
Oh.
And what they would do is when they would go work in the shipyards, because Philadelphia shipyard was right there, they would bring this big loaf of Italian bread and they would take and they would cut it open and they would put like salami and all kinds of cured meats in there, lettuce and tomato.
And onions.
And then that's what that...
Oil,
and onions,
oregano, pepper, and salt.
Ah.
Right. And so what happened was they started calling it, if you ate that, you were a hoggy.
Hoggy.
And then it turned, with the Philadelphia accent, it turned into a hoagie.
Oh, check that out.
So now we got a hoagie.
See, we just had that podcast,
yes, so
and then I was still catching up on yours, and then you guys did one on that. You guys were talking about the hoagie, and I was like, "Ow, darn it! I wish I would have listened to that before we did ours."
Yeah. Well,
yeah, my dad had a restaurant,
the reason we
and
talked
I made
about it was
thousands of hoagies. And I think that's probably the podcast you're talking about, because when people mispronounce the Italian meats that are used, it just puts a hair up my ass.
Capricola.
All bad.
I wish I had some right now.
Maybe I'll do an episode of just those kinds of meats and see if I can drive you nuts.
Be screaming at the...
That's comedy gold, Mindy. You pronouncing all that stuff is comedy gold.
I'm going to do it. I got to write that down.
I think you
Deuce
should.
screaming at the whatever he's listening to his
Italian meats.
3 is comedy through. What do you listen to it through? Your iPod? You're on your car in your car?
On my iPhone. Actually, on my computer or my my iPhone.
Yeah.
See, that's what I have. I have my iPhone, and I actually had to, because I have an older truck, so I actually had to put a whole new stereo in my truck just so I could get podcasts to listen to. Because I don't really listen to regular radio.
Yeah, neither do I.
I can't take the commercials, except yours. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, John. Thank you, John, for selling into that.
Yeah.
Your
gosh.
Your
sponsors.
What are they called?
Sponsors?
Your sponsors.
Pussies and bitches.
Your sponsors.
Pussies and bitches.
That's my favorite.
I did that one for you, by the way. The last a couple weeks ago.
Are they made up, or did you actually find? Or they are between, a combination of both? Are they made up by you, or something that you
about
see?
50%. In the beginning, I was doing them all myself, and I would do stuff like this podcast is sponsored by pencils, because without pencils we couldn't write, stuff like that. But then I started running out, and I started running out of time, because then we start doing more podcasts, and we all have lives. Right. So I try to streamline stuff as much as I can. So I started looking up weird business names and stuff like that. I still from time to time make up my own, but I do put my own play on them, like shit the bed. What was the one I did? Shit the bed canned yams, or crap the bed canned yams. That's not a real business.
There was a lot of crap the beds.
That's not a real. And then I just try to write some weird slogan that's a joke. They're just jokes, obviously.
I love them. I actually do. I love the whole sponsorship thing. Like I wait for them. I'm like, oh, here comes the sponsor. I want to hear what this one's in. And I miss Pussies and Bitches.
Yeah. We did it. The first time I think I've done it 3 times. One time we did it when we had the You Again guys on. Remember when we had those guys? I don't know if you ever listened to that one, but one, they cracked up when I said it. They loved that one. And then I heard Deuce say that he liked that one when you guys were questioning whether or not we do the sponsor, if they're real or not.
Right.
And so I did it again for Deuce. I did it like the week later so that it would be on there. But
That made my day.
yeah, most of them are about 50% are real businesses. Believe it or not, they may not be in business anymore, but they were actual legitimate names. But some of them aren't, like the Schlong hot dog stand. I think I did that one this week. That's not a real business. That's just me. A fun way for me to say, like another way for me to say Dick Sandwich, but something else.
Okay.
Because that's my favorite saying.
So since it's your spot, I don't ever want to take your thing. So if I ever think of any, can I just send them to you?
I'm
Just, shoot them
running
over
out
to
of
you?
ideas.
All right.
I really am.
All right, I'll start there because I like every once in a while I'll say, "Ooh, that's a good fake sponsor," and I'm like, I can't do that because Three's Comedy does that, so I can't
you
really
absolutely
do that. But I'll send
can
them
do
your way.
that. Look, there's a lot of ideas that we don't use. It's it's funny. Like we listen to, I don't know, you probably hear a lot that we enjoy certain podcasts. Like we liked Mark in the Morning and we like Mark and Linda podcast. And he does this, they just came out, they're at their second show and he does this weird and wacky news. And I'm like, dang it, I already do that. You can't, but he does obviously listen to us. He doesn't give a shit about what we do. But there's a lot of similarities when you're trying to do creative stuff. And it wouldn't bother me if you did something like that. It wouldn't bother me at all. It's funny. Why not do it?
I'd rather send them to you. You would read them better. I would screw them all
that's
up.
true, and it's funny because I use the same music. So when you hear it, you're like, "Oh, here comes the sponsor." Yeah,
Comes a sponsor. To be honest with you, I love the way you brand your show.
That's what I try to do because we don't want to leave the listener. I mean, and I know maybe this comes from all the other forms of entertainment that I've done, but I don't want to leave the listener guessing too much. They know what's coming, and they can enjoy the ride. They don't have to think too much. They can just be a part of it. That's kind of the way I try to shape the show, and that's why we use a lot of repetition and structure the show the same way, because that's the way the brain works. We all kind of we work in patterns, and so it's kind of nice to have a pattern to go off of. Plus it helps us to produce the show.
Yeah.
And we don't, and
Well, as we wind this thing down, because I know we could talk for another 2 hours, and then I would have like 7 hours.
Well, we just need to do it again.
Coming like a jail on wheels.
Yeah, you know what?
I think
Yeah, we're going to figure this out.
maybe it can be a monthly thing or something. It'd be kind of cool. You branded it as what did you say? 3 is brand X. So hey,
Got a nice ring to it.
Let's think about doing it again, since this was kind of let's get to know each other a little bit as a separate podcast. So.
maybe we can work with each other.
And now that Deuce has got his whole fanboy thing over with, he did the whole fanboy. Now you feel like part of the crew, so now he can come in and actually be part of the crew. But one of the things I wanted to say is I really appreciate, what you guys do. And where do you, do you see this thing going on for more? Or are you going to try to move this into like a radio show? Because I could actually see you guys doing a radio
that's
show.
crazy.
Well,
I hear that.
I do. I like you the way I'm going to steal something from you now. Peel back the curtain. I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. This is Bob. This is a huge dream of mine and Mindy's. Mindy's now adopted the dream as we've gone along. Bob is our co-host. I think Bob enjoys it. Bob is trying to be a stand-up comedian. I know Bob's along for the journey. Bob will go wherever we go. I know that because that's the homie that he is. But yeah, definitely, I want to do this for a living. I have goals, huge goals, but I'm also very patient because I realize things take time, and we're only in the first year and a half.
We're
not even in 2 years yet.
We're coming up on 200 though.
But we
See,
do.
that's incredible to me that you're a year and a half and you're coming up on 200 episodes. You guys are like the James Brown of podcasters. And you guys, the hardest working podcasters in the industry.
And that's why we do have a structure, because it does make it easy. If we just riffed for hours and hours, there'd be nothing. We could not do 3 a week. So for us, but yeah, John, to answer your question, I think it would help Bob's career. It would help all of our careers, and even mine as far as music too, because I love music. But yeah, I could see us doing it as a radio production. That's the direction I'm going in. I'm actually taking communications in college and going to take some journalism classes and broadcasting, and yeah, that's where I want to go with it for sure. I don't know if it's radio though. I'd like to stay podcast.
Radio, you get censored.
Yeah, I tell you what, I honestly think podcasting in 10 years, I think right now, if I could say, we basically got a foothold. We were growing an audience, and and now radio's coming over. See, now I'm going to get on my soapbox. radio is now coming over into our sandbox. Okay. Like they've ruined their medium because they let the FCC say, oh, you can't say this, you can't say they kind of vanilla. Everything's vanilla over there. So it's very hard to even be
Yeah,
entertaining.
exactly.
So now they want to come over here in our sandbox and start telling us how to do things.
Let's hope not.
And I'm like, I'm rolling up my sleeves, right? We're ready to get down. I'm about ready to start throwing because, as far as I'm concerned, like they say, oh, we're procasters. And, you and I, we're hobbyist podcasters, but they're procasters.
Even though we've been doing it longer. Even they've been on the radio and they're behind a mic a little longer. We've been podcasting longer.
Right. And they have a built-in audience, which we have to, claw and scratch for every listener.
That is my biggest irritation, and it's been that way too with music. I'm sure Bob even feels the same way as far as being an up-and-coming comedian. No one gives a shit. And these guys that are popular, and I'm not saying they haven't earned their popularity because it's hard work to gain that popularity.
I'll say it. They haven't earned their popularity yet.
Okay, I'll think about it in terms of comedians, like a Chris D'Elia or something like that. That dude hustled. I mean, he hustled to get to where he is. So then when he jumps on a podcast, he's going to have 1 million downloads. It's just the way it is.
Exactly.
But people like us, who are probably putting together a better show, maybe, not always the case, but maybe, we're going to have to work a little harder. Just like they did. We're just going to have to do it a different way. I'm okay with that.
Anna Ferris, who's from the show Mom, so all of a sudden she decides to start a podcast. First thing you know, boom, there she is, right at the very beginning of iTunes, right? Picture and everything. Huge amount of
people, though. I mean, think about it. They want to find any way to make money, and if they have somebody producing it for them, how much time does it take? An hour, 2 hours? You know what I mean? They just have to be behind a mic. It's a no-brainer.
But they don't do that though. They just show up and they have people. They have people. I don't have people. I turn around. There's nobody
Bob and
there.
Mindy have people. I don't have people. I don't have people.
Yeah,
Bob and Mindy have people though.
Yeah, we have people.
But they do produce their own shit though. Bob and Mindy are
we do come prepared.
I was joking. Bob.
He was
I have to say one thing about
I was joking
Deuce.
in terms of you have people who produce your podcast. You just show up and podcast.
I said you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say one thing about Deuce is like he's the same way. He's doing the show all week long. Like I'll be sitting there, and we use a program that's actually you can get. It's called Trello, and you put little cards in there, and that's how we put our show notes and everything together. And what we're going to talk about. And I'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden my phone will start going off, and there's Deuce. He's putting stories in and stuff like that. Or he comes with all of a sudden I show up, and one day he says, "Okay, we're going to do the 32 hot babes, and you got to pick them."
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. So he comes up and, he brings content, he brings the funny. So, and I appreciate that. And I couldn't ask for a better co-host, I better watch out. Not, whatchamacallit doesn't listen. Just does. I have two.
Yeah, we know.
We know you do. We know you do.
Off in the weeds, right.
But there's no shame in talking about Deuce.
Hey. Yeah.
He's here.
Right.
He's now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's like talking about your children. You can't give one too much accolades and not say anything about the other.
Speaking of people that haven't earned their stripes, Corey Feldman.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
I never saw
Jason
that.
started to allude to it during their podcast today, and so I did you guys see that abortion?
I never saw it.
I
heard it was
did.
bad.
He didn't want to waste his time, and
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, is he for real?
No, it's Corey Feldman being Corey
You
Feldman.
know, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
He's got money, he's got some kind of fame, even though it's awkward and weird fame, and he can be on the Today Show. And what Deuce is talking about is I feature independent artists, and I'm featuring an artist, a musician, and they're a badass, really good band. I mean, it's a quality recording. They're amazing, and they're not on the Today Show, but this douchebag is. That's what fame is, and that's how we structure
he came
ourselves.
prancing out like a pixie.
Weirdo. Oh, God.
First 30 seconds, I was like, oh my God.
He's like the white Michael Jackson.
But not even.
He has
Not even
That was an
close.
insult to Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yes.
That was horrible. I don't know what he was doing.
He's like if your Uncle Norm did a Michael Jackson imitation.
I did like the bass
That's
player,
exactly
though.
what that looked like.
Well, that's the thing that was funny too for me. I was watching it and I'm like, these band members are taking it serious because they're getting paid to do so. But what are they saying behind? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in this fucking band.
Well, what's even worse is that
Can they
Today's
even
show
use it?
was all, oh, that's so great.
Yeah,
Yay.
it was-
What?
that was
I'm like,
What are they
really?
gonna do? Sit there with like a blank stare? Be like, that shit
I
sucks.
would've.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
They should have actually looked like, you know what they should have looked like? They should have panned over to the hosts of the Today Show, and they should have had the same look on their faces when the second plane hit the second tower.
Yeah.
That's the look they
Really
should have
should
had.
have.
It was like,
Horror.
Train wreck.
oh my God. It
Oh,
was
the
horrible.
humanity.
Oh, the humanity.
No, the humanity.
And I
exactly.
like the music that you guys play. In fact, I don't know, and I'm not even going to attempt, but quite a few podcasts back, you guys played the Ugandan artist.
Yeah, they're from
Denzo.
Africa, right?
Yeah.
Some party
Yeah,
music.
and that was really pretty cool. I mean, I had my iPhone plugged into my speakers in the car, so you can really, hear everything. Wow, there's a lot of echo going on back there. This is pretty cool. So, I don't know the gentleman's or the group's name, but that was really neat. I enjoyed that a lot.
That's
so
Denzo,
I like music
Denzo
too,
International. Denzo International is his name.
Okay, yeah, that was it. And I didn't have time to go back but I just remembered where they were from.
Yeah.
And it was really, really pretty cool because you're opening that up for people.
Yeah.
My brother was a drummer too. I know you were a drummer. And,
Yes.
he was in a band. Well, he still are. My brother still is a drummer too. I mean, part of my bad English. But he was in bands. He tells a lot of the same kind of stories that I've heard you tell on the podcast, where
Tough.
in different club owners and they
yeah.
stiff you. They want to rook you. It's pretty interesting to hear it. That it's because he was starting to question, is it us? And then evidently it's not, because I've heard you tell a lot of the same stories.
No,
Yep.
it's out there. It's tough. It's a tough business. It's just like, and I think we even talked about it a little bit on the last podcast. We are the podcast equivalent to what I was trying to do as a band, to what Bob's trying to do as a comedian. We're starting out at the beginning. I think that as a 41-year-old, I'm a lot more patient than I was when I was younger. I thought I should be a rock star by now, kind of thing. And that's probably because I've ran into a lot of walls. So with the podcast, because I enjoy it and it's relatively easy, why not just do it? Just do it as long as we can do it, as long as we're still into really doing it. Take breaks if we need to, and just see how it goes. I'm telling you, man, when people show up and they see that there's a podcast that has 1,000 podcasts, you know what I mean? By the time you get to that point, you should have some pretty good, pretty good downloads. The consistency means a lot. You see so many podcasts that fade. I know John listens to the classy little podcast. They've faded. They're no longer they don't.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. I thought they were taking a break, because I was listening to that one too.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty long break. I don't know the details, but
yeah, I think the last one went out in June or so.
Oh, okay.
The thing with Emily and
James.
oh my
James,
God.
yeah.
James and Emily. I think they had like a little riff, and then there was something going on, because I'm friends with Emily, and I'm trying to stay in contact with her and all. She's kind of just went dark right now, so that's
my
the other
point.
problem. It's like when your best show, it's like when your show gets canceled. It's like when your favorite show gets canceled. You're like, oh,
that's my
where is
point,
it?
and that's why it's delicate. Relationships are delicate. Bob and all of us really being in tune with each other, because if we're not feeling it, we've got to make sure we communicate it so that we can keep this thing as fresh as it needs to be. So if we take a break, we take a break. Big deal. We take a vacation. It happens all the time, but we come right back. That's how we have to be able to stay, because otherwise you're going to have bad relationships, bad blood. It happens all the time. It's happened to me in multiple bands. I'm not friends with any of the people that I used to be in bands with, believe it or not. So I don't want that to happen, obviously with this project. I've learned a lot from those experiences. So,
Well, not your most recent bands.
well, yeah, no, I'm
Bands
right,
very past.
Right. There's I should say there's a couple where I don't talk to any of them.
You had mentioned that you guys opened for Great White. Was that before the Rhode Island fire incident?
Yes, it was well before that. They
Was it the original lineup still?
yes, and it was a long time ago, but it still was at the bottom end of their career. It was the downside of their career,
Right.
and where they were just doing clubs.
They were hitting their stride when John and I were on our way out of the college radio station. That was
like
in the late
87.
80s, like 1990, maybe at the latest it could have been, but I think it was about 88, 89. And
believe it or not, the biggest artist that I've opened up for is Justin Moore. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a big country artist right now, and he was at the very beginning of his career, getting really popular, and he was amazing. That was
Yeah.
about 4 years ago. The country band opened up for him.
And nice, too.
Well, I never met him. He wasn't.
Well, he said hi to everybody.
I don't know. Not me. I'm the drummer, so I was packing my shit up probably.
Oh, yeah, you probably
You
were.
missed that part.
that's what my brother always said.
Yeah,
He
you
said, yeah, it sucks to be the fucking drummer because the guitarist packs his shit up and he leaves.
Singer's
the
talking to
LV
everybody.
just jumps in a cab with a chick.
Yeah.
And I'm there packing all my shit up.
There it is. Packing my shit up.
Sucks.
Get off the fucking stage, drummer. We're
That
trying to
is
start
true. You are left
I
up
had
there.
to get off because it was a big band. You know, we had to get off. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, listen, for people that don't know, I can't believe that anybody that listens to us doesn't know about Three is Comedy because we talk about you a lot. And just so, to let everybody know, you can always find Three is Comedy on any of your podcast catchers or iTunes. Give them a listen. We thoroughly enjoy the show. Like I said, these guys they come in the bathroom with me when I get up in the morning. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they're in the bathroom with me while I'm getting ready. So you can find them on Twitter, at 3 is Comedy. Facebook is facebook.com, 3 is Comedy, I think it is.
Yep, it sure is. Yeah.
All right. And Instagram, don't even bother because they don't even like it. I mean, do you think
We
you
do.
guys
do.
have
We
about
do.
410 followers on Instagram. It's everything.
About 410.
Wow.
Everything is 3 is Comedy. Well, I don't know if it's changed, but everything's 3 is Comedy. Yeah.
But you guys are awesome, and I would urge all of our listeners to check them out because they're great people and they've got a great sense of humor. And if you like what me and John do, you're going to love them to death. You
Thank
really
you.
will.
Thank
To be
you.
honest with you, I think half of our listeners are in this room right now on this podcast. Half our
That
listeners
is
are on
true.
this podcast.
Thank you, Deuce. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that.
All right, and like I said, we're gonna, Jason, me and you, we got to
do.
get into this thing, and we got to figure out how to get
Yeah.
get this whole techno stuff straightened out, and then we'll come back and.
I'm gonna troubleshoot it a little bit. So
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and again, we are Brand X Podcast. You can find us. Just go to Brand X Podcast. Let me try that again.
You go, Mindy.
There it is.
let me do it for you.
You go,
can go
Mindy.
to thebrandxpodcast.com. They're on Twitter, the Brand X Podcast. iTunes, Brand X Podcast.
If
All
you go
that
to
shit.
All that
brandxpodcast.com/contact, it'll show you all that kind of stuff. Because
There you go.
Hey,
You do have a nice website, actually.
Teamwork.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.